Okay. Other things you need to be aware of. Personally identifiable information. You can get into a lot of trouble with this. 46 states have laws for the residents of their states. I'm from Florida. We get a lot of tourists that come down and they rent condo units and stuff like that and everything. Part of the problem is the definition of what is personally identifiable information differs by states. Some of them, if you just got a name and an address, that's enough to be PII. Then you got to prove that it's published in the phone book or something like that, so it wasn't private. The problem with these is consistently they cover the citizens of their state no matter where they happen to be located. So in Florida, if I got a Nevada resident who's coming down there for 6 months and renting a place in a condo association, you have to be in compliance with Nevada law. They're from Michigan, you have to be in compliance with Michigan law. Okay, that's a real pain. You got to be in compliance with every one of them. That's tough to keep track of. Luckily, I'll jump ahead. Of the 46 states, only these 5 on the right have proactive laws. Those are the 5 you need to know what the laws are for person identifiable information. California, Washington, Nevada, Michigan, Massachusetts. If you are in compliance with those 5, you are in compliance with everybody. Okay? Otherwise, you'll drive yourself nuts keeping track of all this. Okay. Negligence. Oh, negligence is fun. Triple penalties. You should have a written security policy. These things you should have. They will really protect you. Written security policy, written use policy, what they're allowed to do with computers at your office, specified security officer, so that if something happens, this is the person you contact. That's all it is. Written response plan, proof. Now, this, as of about a year and a half ago, proof policies are enforced. Somebody said, oh, we got all these written policies. Look, we did it. So you don't have any proof that you were enforcing them or checking on them or validating them or anything, and they lost in court. $300,000 on that one. I should mention also, this one gets a lot of people. I don't know how many of y'all process credit cards for various things on your facilities or whatever. If you process a credit card and you keep that information on site, you have to be completely compliant with the PCI DSS regulations, which are very strict. Okay, you have to have regular penetration testing and all sorts of stuff. Okay, more than likely you're not in compliance. But most places, they don't keep the information. I'll give you an idea how bad that is, actually, before I move on. I got a case. Somebody embezzled $32,000 an employee. And, but unfortunately, they had 13 pieces of credit card information on their computer. They wanted me to do the analysis of the computer and everything, when she got on, when she did, and all that kind of stuff. So I did it and went through all that stuff, and I told them, look, you've got these pieces of information, the person's name, address, credit card, and CVV, because they want it charged every month while they were there. You got it all in an Excel file. Do you know, when I go up and testify and make this public, that you have these 11 here, do you know what you're going to be fined? It's $250,000 for having those 13 like that. That would be their fine. That doesn't include any kind of other things. So they fired the person, let her go with the $32,000. You know, 32 that I can probably get back from insurance, 250, no brainer. But what's even worse, and I actually saved somebody real good on this one in North Carolina recently. If you process cards, even if you don't keep them, you process a card, it goes out to a processor, and they say yes or no, we've got it. Do you have in your possession a letter from them stating that they are PCI DSS compliant? Because if they are not and they get hacked, you're on the hook for every card that you send out there, and it can be in the millions of dollars. If you have that piece of paper from them saying they are PCI DSS compliant, your attorney sends that, you're off the hook, you're out of the suit. Okay, that's a really, really big thing if you've got if you're doing any credit card stuff. Get a thing. Also, how many of y'all on cloud? Anybody on cloud yet? A few of you? Okay. You should have something from your cloud service provider saying that they are compliant. Okay, that they are compliant with all, I usually have them say, all states' personally identifiable information laws. Okay, if you've got that in your hand and they get hacked, you're off the hook. If you don't, you did not do due diligence to make sure that information was secure, and you're on the hook. It's going to cost you a lot. Okay, we're talking at a minimum in the hundreds of thousands. Okay, spend a couple minutes, get a couple pieces of paper. Okay, and according to my clock here, that winds up our time. There's my email addresses. If you want to get on my newsletter, I send a newsletter out that says, here's the newest stuff that's happening right now that you need to be aware of. We can be glad to send it to you. It's free. The reason why there's a PI email there is in the state of Florida. A lot of stuff I do, even for condo associations, the backgrounds and stuff, it's a felony to do if you're not a private investigator. So it falls under that category. Any questions? No? That's pretty unusual.
You gave a whole lot of ways people can get your information. How do we find the strategies to prevent that?
That's very good, especially since firewalls and stuff really don't do a whole lot. I tried to give you a couple tips as we went along. I said, here's your takeaway. Do this, but don't do that. If you send me an email, I can give you some suggestions on add-ins for your browser and stuff like that. Again, I don't want to give them out in a presentation like this because then I'm supporting a particular company. Okay, I love password managers that you do on your machine. I don't like the ones in the cloud because there are ways I can get that. But there are ways you have to configure it to make it safe. Otherwise, they're just getting your whole set of passwords too. But I'll mention names if you write me, okay? I just don't, I'll say this product's really good, and you'll get it, and there'll be a hole in it next week in the update, and then you'll be mad at me. It's reality. Okay. Now I have business cards if anybody wants.